hope it reflects a lot of it, but I think part of what makes the show work and apply to many different people is that it's a very specific snapshot of these 4 girls. And so I think the fact that the show is so specific and is really telling just the stories of Marnie, Hannah, Jessa, and Shoshana very specifically, and then all the people in their world, means that girls can sort of say, I've been through that, I've never been through this, I can relate to this, I can't relate to that. And so they don't have to feel like they are exactly like one of those characters in order to feel like it's a relatable show. But I think it is relatable.
Do you think we're going through a new sexual revolution? Like in the 70s that you wouldn't even know, but
I know. I wouldn't know to compare it to the 70s. I think the 70s were a mixture of so many different things happening at once that it was kind of unique. But I feel that today that there's a potential for that to be happening. There seem to be a lot of movements, and that would be exciting.
For many decades, women in the film industry or on TV, they were like in the background a little. Mm-hmm. This is one of the most intense shows in terms of women telling their own story.
Yes.
Do you think this is a reflection of reality? Women in the real world.
Totally. Women are strong. We have things to say. We have perspectives that are unique, and I think they are deserving of being put on television and in film and in every medium that exists. I mean, I think it would be a sad world to deprive women of that opportunity. So I think that's what is part of what makes this job such a delight, is to be able to be part of Lena Dunham being able to communicate everything she wants to communicate on film.
Being on a show like this, which is 13 episodes or per season, I'm assuming it's difficult because I don't know how it works. Do you get the script completely, or is every other day you get it?
It's the way it works is I might have a conversation with Lena early in the season where she says this is what is going to happen to Marnie over the year, and then that changes a million times, and we get each script one at a time. Sometimes we get a few. We read them at the table read, and then they might change a lot in new drafts. Sometimes they change the day we shoot it. So it's always changing, and they're always sort of figuring out like what's the best story, but they block out the arcs ahead of time, and it always ends up being the best scripts, though.
How much are you like the girl or women we see on Girls?
We have a lot in common by virtue of being in the same phase of life. It's a weird mixture of being adult and young at the same time. There are moments when I feel like a child still. The other day I was trying to make carbonated water, and I forgot to screw it in, so 3 times in a row I sprayed myself with water without fixing the way I was doing it, and I felt like a little kid who couldn't figure out how to do it. And then there are moments where I feel like a real adult. So I think it's a very relatable moment for a lot of girls and guys who are watching the show, because the male characters are so wonderful that they can relate to this sort of weird gray area that we're all in. It's very fun to play because it feels very familiar. And if I don't relate to Marnie 100%, she feels like one of my friends, or I feel like I know her in another life or something like that.
Do you have to prepare a lot, or is it more spontaneous? How does Lena works?
It's a combination. Definitely you have to show up to work, ready to work, prepared, know what's happening, know your lines. But sometimes the lines change in the rehearsal, and Lena will say, actually, I want to restructure the scene. Let's start with these lines. Let's move on to this thing next. And so that is all part of the dance that we do once we're all filming together. And that's what makes the show really fun to work on, because it's a combination of preparation and hard work and improvisation, which is kind of a dream scenario for an actor to be in.
What do you think this show has given you? Besides exposure?
Everything, so much. I've learned so much from being on this show. First of all, it's given me 3 amazing friends, and that's not counting the crew and the other cast members, but the girls and I have been through such a specific thing together that it's amazing. It was my first real professional acting job, so it's given me a career, and it's given me such a wonderful creative outlet. I've gotten to have so many wonderfully different creative experiences on the show. I've got to play so many different versions of the same character, which is such a delight. And I've learned a ton. I mean, I'm very spoiled because the scripts are so good and all the crew is so good and Lena is so good. So it's hard for me to read other scripts because I'm so used to the way she writes and so masterful. But it's given me my life. I'm very grateful.